Follow BYU Sports Nation on social media for content throughout the day on Facebook, X. Can I still call it Twitter?
Yes.
X. Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. We're all over social media.
Why couldn't it be Y? Then it would fit perfectly with our show.
Yes, that would be beautiful. But I just have the hardest time calling it X. So.
I know.
I still say Twitter, and people look at me like, you're so old school.
No, Twitter, it's Twitter forever. It really is. Welcome back to Studio B. I am Spencer. He is Blaine. Time to rise and shout. Let's get to a loaded edition of What's Trending.
Slovis fires, back of the end zone, touchdown! Touchdown, BYU! The Cougs open on top!
BYU with a significant challenge staring them down on Saturday morning. And early in the week, we wondered, okay, Kedon Slovis has been out for a couple of weeks. Jake Retzlaff has had his 2 starts. Who's going to be the guy? And both Aaron Roderick and Kalani Sitake were asked about that. And Kalani said, well, when Kedon is healthy, he's the guy, but he's not healthy. And Aaron Roderick said on Coordinator's Corner that Jake Retzlaff is, for all intents and purposes, preparing to make the start. But just because I've had so many people ask me, well, would BYU have a better chance even if Kedon Slovis is like 75% or 80%, Spencer? Like, what would the BYU offense look like if that is the case? So, Blaine, you're a quarterback. Let's discuss what would BYU roll out if they put out Kedon Slovis as the starting quarterback on Saturday?
Yeah, and it's hard because I have to go all the way back to fall camp to really understand, or to the first couple of games.
Yeah.
Because what we didn't know until a couple of weeks ago is that Kedon Slovis has been hurt since the Arkansas game, right? And so, and I noticed, I was like, man, is Kedon just digressing a little bit? Because in fall camp, in the first couple of games, like his ability to throw the deep ball and to stretch the defense was outstanding. Like he could drop that ball in. He was throwing back shoulder throws deep to the sideline on good timing. And then after the Arkansas game, when he was still playing, there were times when I was going, man, he was making those throws. There's just not as much zip on that deep out ball or on that back shoulder throw. Or, man, he had the guy wide open, but he hesitated a minute, and he just didn't have the arm strength, it seemed like, to get it out there. It was just slightly underthrown. Well, now we know he was playing with a shoulder problem during that was limiting his arm strength. He was good enough to play. Maybe he was 75 or 80%, right?
Yeah.
Then he compounded that 2 games ago with an elbow. He tweaked that elbow and that tendon in his elbow. So now he had the 2 problems, which he's throwing the ball this week. He's starting to look like his old self.
Yeah.
And so in short, if he's 100% healthy, he has the ability to drop deep balls in, throw back shoulder throws, and really stretch a defense and get you big plays.
Yes.
That's what he brings, and experience and leadership. If he's not 100% and you take that away, then it's almost like, well, you're better off with Retzlaff because at least he can run around and do some things with his feet, even with his inexperience, and maybe not making the reads quite as quick, and doesn't quite have the touch on the deep balls yet that Kedon Slovis does. You're probably better off with a guy that can run around when Kedon's not 100%. I like Kedon Slovis at 100%. But remember, everyone, we haven't had him 100%.
Yeah.
Even when he played 2 games not 100%.
And that's tough to overcome. I mean, and you're hanging on because you want the red shirt to remain in place for a guy like Jake Retzlaff. And so you're rolling with an injured quarterback in Slovis. And I'm with most BYU fans. It's senior day, Blaine.
Right.
This is his final home game. You want to see a guy be able to go out and play in a big-time contest like this against Oklahoma on national TV. He's earned the right to do that, but BYU's trying to win games, and if he's not right, then it's probably not the answer. Like, I have this pipe dream that Slovis will at least get on the field for 1 series or be able to take a knee in victory formation. How awesome would that be? I know. The percentages are just minute, but I'd love to see him out there at some point on senior day. He's just not healthy.
Feels like he deserves that, right? And you and I have gotten a chance to get to know all of these guys pretty well. And Kedon Slovis,
he's a special person.
He is an amazing human being. And when healthy, he's really effective in there. It's just a shame that this transfer comes. He gets in an offense that can showcase his skills as an NFL candidate. and then these injuries have slowed him down.
Certainly.
So,
Okay,
I just let's hope he has some type of a miraculous where all of a sudden he's throwing the ball full strength today and tomorrow, and they go, you know what?
Maybe we could put
He
him
looks
on
good.
the
Let's
field
go.
and switch it
Let's
up a
go.
little bit. But for the time being, Aaron Roderick was asked the question straight up last night after practice about who's going to start, and this was his response to that.
Not sure yet. Kedon is not 100%. He's practiced more this week than he did last week, but he's not 100% yet, so we're still working through that.
Are you willing to start him if he's not 100%?
No, he won't play unless we feel like he's 100%. We're not going to play him. We gotta have him. It's not for his sake, you know. Like, not going to put him out there unless he can fully do the job.
Okay, the question has now been answered. Then.
Yeah.
We know Kedon's not 100%. Aaron Roderick just told us he's not 100% and said he's not going to play. We're going to protect him. We don't want him to get worse. So he's not going to play unless he's there. Now it's Jake Retzlaff. So, Blaine, 2 games in, 2 starts in, here comes Jake Retzlaff again to make his 3rd start. What will the BYU offense look like with Jake in start number 3?
Yeah, there's been a little opportunity for Aaron Roderick to have a chance. Everybody talks about, well, Retzlaff should be better now. He's 3 games into this thing. He has experience out there. He should be better. His game will progress, which is absolutely true. But guess who else's game will progress? Aaron Roderick now has had him out there for 2 games to go, oh, you know what? Let's look back at the film. I called that play. That's not a great play for him. Like, that doesn't fit his skill set. I need to call more of this and less of that. And to me, more of the quick throw stuff. That's the offense he came from. More of the quick throw stuff, get the ball out, and more put him on the move.
Okay.
And I feel like he gets into the game when he runs the ball a few times and gets hit. Right? He loves to be involved in the run game. So some of this right here, where he's running that zone read, or go true RPO. We saw him do one of those in the games where it looks like the zone read. He comes out and he flicks the ball out to the sideline. It's a true run pass option. That's where he's at his best right now, and that's where he's most comfortable. He also sees the field with these bigger bodies that he's facing. Big D linemen, big backers, defensive backs that are 6'2" and 6'3" that can run. He sees the field better when he gets outside a little bit, too. So I think Aaron Roderick, who will now have 2 games in the body of work to understand what he does best, we can call a game that's more tailored to fit his style of football, and he can have more success.
It's obviously going to take something very, very special and unique that BYU football has not really put together all year in a game to beat the likes of Oklahoma. And I'm going to cycle back. I'm going to give you 2 numbers here. I'm going to cycle back to one that was presented to us from a fan yesterday that pointed out that Oklahoma head coach Brent Venables is 3-8 when his defenses surrender 400 yards of total offense or more. It is worth noting, BYU has not hit the 400-yard total offense plateau 1 time this season. Not once. Didn't do it against Sam Houston. Didn't do it against Southern Utah. Had good offensive numbers against Kansas, but still did not hit that 400 pinnacle. So can we be real and say, all right, you want to beat Oklahoma? You probably got to figure out how to put up 400 yards of total offense. BYU is averaging 100 yards less than that. Look at Oklahoma, over 500 a game. So, yeah, you need 400, Blaine. And then the other number is in BYU's 5 wins compared to their 5 losses. BYU is 5-0 when they win the turnover margin. They are 0-5 when they lose the turnover margin.
And that's the, you know what? That can override the need to get 400. If BYU's +3, they might be able to get 275 yards and win. That's the other reason Brent Venables, when teams get 400, that tells you that Oklahoma's probably turned it over a little bit and given them extra possessions. And then Oklahoma's offense is so explosive, less opportunities. So yeah. 400 may be important. Turnover margin the most important, in my opinion.
Let's go.
There you go.